Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Obviously recapping the game. Very difficult finish. Extremely proud of our guys. Thought it was a phenomenal football game. I thought the resiliency that we showed, getting down early, bouncing back, taking the lead, getting down again, going into the fourth quarter, down 2 scores, bouncing back, taking the lead, giving it up, going back down the field again. I just thought we showed a tremendous amount of fight, and unfortunately, at the end of the day, we came up 2 points short, and that's really how we look at it. I thought Grayson played one heck of a game. Certainly, looking at him in the fourth quarter, I thought that's the best our offense executed, particularly in the passing game, in a while, and that was great to see. We needed it. I thought we were able to run the ball well to keep some balance all night. And so Jordan Waters had a big game. And, defensively, I think, we played really well in the red zone. But I just think there were some execution moments where we could have been better. And that's kind of what I talked to the guys about. They're extremely talented and they're going to find ways to make their plays. But, I thought there were just some times where we could have executed the defense at a much better level to give ourselves a better chance. And then I thought on special teams, we were able to steal some possessions and give ourselves a chance. And, but at the end of the day, you got to tip your hat to them. They played an extremely good football game. And certainly, if I never have to play Drake May again, I'll be very happy about that. He's a talented kid. And, some of the plays that he made were just extremely special. And so, we've got to now refocus. And that's our challenge. And I think we've got a great group of kids. We've got a resilient group of kids. And we've got a lot still to play for. I think the chance to be a back-to-back 8-4 team in the ACC, the chance to go to Charlottesville this week and win at a place where Duke football hasn't won in a really long time, and still a chance to compete to get into a really exciting bowl game is things that are really important to us, and so we've got to bounce back and respond, and I believe we will. And we're going to Charlottesville to take on a really talented UVA team, and I know the record is what it is, but this group is playing at a much higher level than they did last year. You can see the togetherness. You can see that they're really bought into what Tony's trying to do. I think on offense, it starts with Malik Washington. He's playing at an elite level. Obviously, very dynamic, catching the football, running routes, but also using them in the screen game and some of the jet sweep game, and really finding ways to get him the football. They got the big outside kid, Malachi Fields, which has always kind of been a staple of Coach Elliott and Coach Kitchen's offenses, having that big, tall playmaker that is really hard to hold on to one-on-one on the outside. And, they're playing 2 quarterbacks, and both of them have played at a really good level this year. And so, I think they're an offense that is very dangerous. And then, defensively, they're kind of got a mixed group. You got a lot of guys that have played a lot of football, and then you got some really young, talented players intertwined in that. And so, I think again, second year in the system, operating at a much higher level, and playing this thing really well. And so, they've played some really good football this year. I think they've gotten better every single week, and we certainly anticipate getting their absolutely best, and it's going to take our best to go out there and get the result that we want. And so that's kind of where we're at. So from there, I'll open up to questions.
With Grayson, can you kind of talk us through how his development from 2 months ago when he was on the scout team to being able to do what he did in the fourth quarter? How have you seen him kind of grow, and where has he gotten better?
Yeah, I mean, he always had arm talent. So you go back and you think about the spring game that he played in, and I think a lot of people walked away from the spring game impressed with some of the throws that he made and some of the different things that he could do. And for him, it's just really been about adjusting to the speed of the game, And so, now all of a sudden you've got a rush and you've got different looks, and so you go out on scout team, and it's a lot of fun because, you got a card, there's no pressure, throw an interception, no one really cares. You're just trying to wing it around and have some fun like you are in the backyard. And then you flip over, and now all of a sudden everything matters, and now you're reading and progressing and seeing defenses. And so I just think it's been a development on the speed of the game, and then confidence. I think, we talked about it coming out of Wake. I felt like the fourth quarter at Wake added a lot of confidence to him. I think his ability to execute down the stretch in that game, even though the numbers weren't, overly gaudy or anything, I just think his ability to make some of those throws at those critical moments. And I think you saw it a little bit in practice last week that he just had a little bit of a different demeanor about him. I think the guys were kind of like, okay, yeah, this kid can get us where we need to go. And you saw that. And then I think they just kind of rallied around him in the fourth quarter, and we played really good football on offense.
What does that do, Coach, as far as, a game management standpoint? I know you want to make sure that he's comfortable, not making too many mistakes out there, but, the fourth quarter, he just looks more comfortable, more repetition,
Yeah.
more in sync, more comfortable. What does that do for you as far as expanding the playbook for him?
Yeah, I think each time he goes out there, he's now going into a situation that he's been in, right? And so, the first for game against Wake, it's his first start. The game against Carolina, it's his first start on the road. And so now, you've checked a lot of boxes. And so now I think the nerves aren't going to be as bad. I think you're not worried as much about having to completely settle him down in a new environment. Now he's still a quarterback and you're trying to get him in rhythm and all of those things. But, I think going into that game last week, you certainly had a mindset in the beginning to just, okay, let's let this kid ease into the game. Let's not come out and throw 8 of our first 9 balls. And, you wanted to make sure that you put him in positions where he could be successful. I think now that you've gotten 2 starts out of the way and you feel comfortable with where he is, he's gotten his feet really settled. He's got his feet set. Now I think you can just kind of open the playbook up and go.
Jordan Moore made some really big catches throughout, and even took some snaps as a Wildcat. How big of is he as a playmaker for you guys, and can we see more of that in that quarterback moving forward?
Yeah, I think he's a really talented athlete. I think we all know that, and I don't know that we had big plans to do that with him coming into the year, but circumstances have changed, and so now you're starting to see some different type of run structures and run boxes because we've got a new quarterback. And so trying to create an extra guy sometimes, and is that something that can help us, we'll certainly utilize it. And, we're going to try to find ways to let Jordan Moore impact the football game. We think he's a huge impact player for us. We think he's a very dynamic player. And however we can put him in positions to impact the game, we want to do it.
Responding to a loss has never been you bounce back from losses really well. What gives you confidence that this week will be kind of the same?
Yeah, I mean, the character and the culture. I think that's the biggest thing. And we've got a lot of guys. I talked to the leadership group about this. We've got a lot of older guys in this program that their legacy is going to be how this season finishes. And they have a lot of pride in that. And so I think as we move forward down the stretch here, I know we kind of want to lump seasons into success and failure, but there's a lot of degrees in this thing. And so between 6-6 and 8-4 is a huge difference. And that's not lost on anyone in our locker room. And so, Charlotte's not alive anymore, but we still have a lot to play for coming down the stretch.
Mike, there's the elephant in the room. A lot of chatter out there about vacant coaching positions. Is there an official Mike Elko statement about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same one I've always made. It's a profession where people just like to put stuff out there. I'm very committed to this place. Everybody knows I'm very happy at this place. We're doing a lot of really special things at this place. My family's very happy here. We love Duke. We love everything that this place is for. And, again, I say this all the time. When you're doing your job well, everybody thinks you're leaving. When you're doing your job bad, everyone thinks you're leaving. It is literally the nature of college coaching. And so, you try not to pay any attention to that stuff. I'm obviously not oblivious to it. And we certainly have addressed it just because it needs to be addressed. But I don't know where that stuff comes from. Certainly nobody ever asked my opinion on what I think about things.
Like you guys were 4 on fourth down the other night. Sometimes when you're in a game, like you have to go like the go-ahead touchdown, when you're down. Kind of how do you weigh when you're not in those have to go, don't have a choice? How do you weigh that risk reward during the course of the game? You want to be aggressive, but you want to play smart. You kind of walk me through that process with you on fourth down.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are very much tied into analytics. I think that plays a big role in kind of some of that decision making and certainly shapes it. And so I think you understand percentages, you understand odds, you understand game flow. And then I think you have to play momentum into that. And so, I think there's times where analytics say go for it, and we do. I think there's times where analytics say go for it, and maybe I'm not quite ready to put the game on the line at that moment, and then we don't. I think the start of the fourth quarter is a great example. I think we had the ball with like 13 and a half minutes left. I think we had a 4th and 5, and I think I got reprimanded by the analytics for not going for it. But at that moment, I just didn't want to put the game on the line. I felt like punting it, giving our defense a shot to go play was something that was important. And so we did. We went out, we got a 3 and out, and then we scored on back-to-back possessions to take the lead. And so I just think you're trying to feel it all. I think you try to bring all of it into the equation of, what do the percentages say And then what does it feel like? Does it feel like that's the right call? And you try to put all that together in about 8 seconds and make the best decision you can to help your team be successful.
With the fake punt, that's a little different than like lining up.
Yeah.
Clearly we're going to go for it, but is that kind of the same evaluation, or is that more like we have the look we want?
I think honestly, I think the fake punt, the surprise onside kick, like you can say that is a tip of the cap to Drake May. And knowing that we had to not give him the ball as many times as he wanted it. Yeah, that was honestly a part of that game plan. Was we were trying to find every way we could to steal possessions, and we did a very similar thing last year. We were very aggressive on 4th down last year in this game, and I think all of that plays a role. Like we don't look at anything in a vacuum. I think everything is particular to the game we're playing, and so you look at the game you're playing, and you're playing one of the most explosive offenses in the country with the best quarterback in the country. You're going to operate a certain kind of way with how you manage the game, and I think that's what we were trying to do.
Coach, there was a clip I saw, I believe yesterday. It was a picture of you hugging Jalen Calhoun at the end of the game on Saturday. Can you just explain how that moment was like for him and just for you as a coach, kind of consoling him?
Yeah, I just listen. The biggest thing that gets lost in all this with fans and how passionate fans are about this is like nobody cares about this game more than the guys in the locker room. And these kids have put their heart and soul into this program and into this university. And, the second that game ends, like that's the immediate thought process is making sure my guys are okay, making sure these guys are okay. And, obviously he was a guy that was down and not for any reason other than, it's his senior year and he really wanted that game. And so you try to uplift him and you try to let him know you care about him and that you're there for him. And, same thing I told my guys in the locker room is I don't have magic words right now. It's just know that I'm proud of you and I love you and we're going to find a way to get through this. And you don't try to BS them. You just try to keep it straight with them. And I think that's what this program's built off of. Good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.